You've said elsewhere that part of the difficulty in U.S.-China relations is that Americans on the whole don't know China well. So I've been reading up on the Baucus Institute's laudable work and wanted to ask if I could. Now, how is your Baucus Institute working to address that gap?
Well, thanks, Russell. I'm so proud. Frankly, I'm not a megalomaniac. I got this sign behind me with my name in big letters. I've got to get it redesigned so that my name is in smaller letters, but the Institute is in much larger letters behind me. But we're working hard on the point you just made. But I might, before we get into that, say, I think still the real ballast here is business. Both countries need each other economically, commercially. We're joined at the hip, and that's not very well known. I mentioned $700 billion. Secretary Raimondo gave that same figure today or the day before over in China. It's valid. And both countries want investment from the other. And there's a huge market for American businessmen. Now, clearly, American businessmen are trying to build in various risks in different scenarios and how well they can do business in China. And clearly, the actions by China on American consultancy firms trying to get information in China, adverse actions are having a chilling effect. There's no question about all of that. But I do think, and I believe this very strongly, that because businessmen don't get involved in politics very much, the more business both ways can still try to work to do deals, keep working, building up those relationships, personal relationships, commercial relationships, the more it's going to really help the relationship. Because if there were no strong commercial relationship today between U.S. and China, man, oh man, I just think that at the geopolitical level, we'd be in a world of hurt. One more point I'd like to make, maybe two more quickly, if I might, and that is, I think that over time, it may not happen until after the 2024 election, that both countries are going to realize that we got to work with each other. China's not going anywhere. It's going to be here on this globe. America's not going anywhere. We're always going to be here. So it's not a really good metaphor, but the one I come up with, it's really an arranged marriage. We have an arranged marriage with China, arranged by the geopolitical, economic forces of the world. The United States, biggest, strongest country so far. China, second largest so far. We're here, different systems, totally different, but we're not going away. And so like an arranged marriage, we got to figure out how to accommodate each other. And there are lots of ways we can accommodate, but it just isn't happening because there's very little trust, and there's very little trust because there's so little communication between the two countries, and because each country likes to take, pot shots or criticize the other. But I think the more we realize this is like an arranged marriage, we don't love each other. Believe me, this is not a marriage based on love, but it is a marriage based on an arrangement by the geopolitical forces of the world, and there's no divorce. No country's going to get off this planet. We're here. We got to learn how to accommodate each other. And I think the more we realize, both countries start to realize that neither side talks down to the other, neither thinks it's superior to the other, neither wants to change the other, but to work to try to find some accommodation. That'll be a big, big plus. Answer your question, Russell, not so long answer, is that we are, just today I interviewed somebody else to be an executive director for our organization. We sent 20-some Montana students to China last month. They came back on fire. They loved it. My goal is to get kids out of their comfort zone, and get them overseas, get involved in service, and it's wonderful. Thank you.